Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the February meeting of the Beer Board. We'll call the meeting to order with a roll call vote. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Present.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Present.
And the chair votes present. Approval of minutes is the next item on the agenda, and I hope everyone's had a chance to look at those. Any corrections, deletions? If not, I'll also entertain a motion on the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion for a second.
Second?
Let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes for that also. The next item on the agenda is election of chairman and vice chairman effective for this year, 2023. I will entertain any motions that anyone has, and we can, since there's only three of us, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Vice Mayor, as you are Vice Mayor, I will gladly submit my name for chair
Okay,
to help with your duties.
all right. Proper motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, proper motion, second. Let's do a roll call vote. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
You didn't vote against yourself?
Not today, not today.
And the chair votes yes to that. Let's do then for the vice chairman of the committee.
I'd like to nominate my peer and fellow alderman, Gabrielle Hanson.
All right, proper motion, is there a second? I'll second that.
Second. I can second that.
Let's do a roll call vote. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes to that also. That takes care of item 2, which is election of chairman and vice chairman. Let's go to item 3 then, consideration of application of the Heritage Foundation of Williamson County, DBA Main Street Festival in front of McCrary's Pub and on the square, public square, Franklin, Tennessee. Ian Hunt, managing agent for a special event date and hours, April the 22nd through the 23rd, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. You probably recognize Jamie Smith, the Director of Event Management with Heritage Foundation, and she's here to talk to us about this event and the next 3, I think. So.
All right.
So we're just presenting our Main Street Festival beer stuff. It's the same locations as we had last year, which is on the public square, and we also have it in front of McCreary's as a possibility for Main Street.
Do we have any questions? I mean, you have the tent set up, you have the area.
Well, the tent is set up for Bavarian Beer House, which is on the public square, but McCreary's, when they set up, they set out with an extra gated thing and the tables and stuff, so
Okay.
it's not necessarily tented.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? We have done this before.
Many times.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Proper motions are a second?
Second?
Let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote on that?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Your permit for that is approved. Let's go to item 4 then. Consideration of application of the Heritage Foundation of Williamson County DBA Heritage Ball, Eastern Flank Battlefield, 1368 Eastern Flank Circle, Franklin, Tennessee, 37064. Jamie Smith, managing agent for special event date and hours, October the 7th, 2023, from 5 until 12 a.m. Same as last year, same as the year before last, and
Yes,
same as
all
the year
of it.
before that?
Thank you.
Excellent.
Then, any questions? Then I'll entertain a motion for approval of the beer permit for this particular item.
Motion
Move.
to, sorry.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve?
And I will second.
Proper motion and a second. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes to that. Almost went back to the old way of saying all in favor. Yeah, I missed that, you know? So let's go to item 5, then you are approved for that also. Consideration of application of the Heritage Foundation of Williamson County, DBA Pumpkin Fest, Main Street in front of McCrary's Pub, and on the public square, Franklin, Tennessee. Ian Hunt, managing agent for special event dates and hours, October the 28th, 2023, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m.
And I would just like to make one comment On the application for this permit, there were actually 4 locations that they applied for. It was in front of McCreary's Pub, Harpeth Square parking lot, on the public square, and Landmark parking lot. And 2 of those locations failed to be included on the agenda title item, but they were in your packets, and we have put them on the permit. So we would ask that if you approve this permit, that you approve it for all 4 of those locations.
Sean, we have done this before, have we not? The 3 or 4, 5 locations, and it all comes under the one beer permit.
Yeah, that's right. It would all be under one permit unless there's someone else doing a special event at the same time. But I understand this is all one thing, so yeah, one permit.
And all 4 of these locations fall under the footprint of the event that they've included on their special event permit with the city as a whole. So it was just that we neglected to include
Okay.
2 of those. And we've put multiple locations on the other permits. I just wanted to point that out since it wasn't on the agenda properly.
I know several years ago, we had some discussion as to whether or not the one permit covers all 4 or 5 locations. And I think we decided then that it did. Is there any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Proper motion, is there a second?
Second?
Proper motion and a second. Let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes on that also. Let's go to item 6 then. It says consideration of application of Heritage Foundation, DBA Dickens of a Christmas in front of Aquarius Pub and on the public square. Ian Hunt. Did we just? Never mind.
You're on the right one.
Yeah, did mark them off. For special event dates and hours, December the 9th, 2023, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and December the 10th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Any questions of the applicant? If not, then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Proper motion to a second.
Second?
Let's do a roll call vote on that then. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes on that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Item 7 says consideration of application of Feed America First, DBA Dancing with the Nashville Stars, the factory at Franklin. Liberty Hall, 230 Franklin Road, Franklin, Tennessee. Doug Fuqua, managing agent for special event dates and hours, February the 23rd, 2023, 5:30 to 9:30.
And we have Doug Fuqua here for Feed America First. He's the Director of Community Relations, and he's going to talk to us about Dancing with the Nashville Stars.
So yeah, this will be our 11th annual Dancing with the Nashville Stars. So over at Liberty Hall, we host dancers that come in and fundraise for Feed America First. We work as a feeding agency in Middle Tennessee, serve about 25 to 30,000 Tennesseans per month. So this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. Last year, we generated around $430,000 at this event.
Wow.
So it is a huge event for us, but we're looking forward to it this year.
Any questions of the applicant?
Yeah. I have one, Mr. Chair, but this is, again, this is your 11th year to do this. Have you had conversations with the new managing partners there at the factory as far as beverages in and out and where their stations might be in the vicinity?
I have not. As far as Liberty Hall, we've generally been able to still access the back entry point where we bring in all of our tables and equipment, and we've been able to come in that way, basically, as far as I know. I haven't heard anything different.
Okay. All right, good.
Any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Proper motion, is there a second?
Second?
Let's do a roll call vote on that also then. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote? The
Yes.
chair votes yes on that. Now, for those of you who are interested, the mayor's won this event the last 3 years.
The mayor's been in it, Eric was in it, I did it, Pearl did it, and now Matt's doing it.
Yes. And I think Eric did it too.
Eric did it, I did it, and Matt did it. So we've all had our time.
There's some real
dancing. So
celebrities in that.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
guys
Your
need to
turn is
step up next
coming.
year for dancing.
All right, item 7. Item 8, is consideration of application of Interfaith Dental, DBA License to Smile, The Factory at Franklin, Liberty Hall and Heritage Room, 230 Franklin Road, Franklin, Tennessee, 3764 Cheryl Brockstruck. Okay. Managing agent for special event dates and hours, March 25th, 2023, 6 PM until 11 PM.
And this is Cheryl Boxstruck. She's the donor engagement specialist, and she's here to tell us about the organization and their event.
Thank you. Interfaith Dental is a charitable clinic. We're a 501c3 organization that serves people experiencing poverty in Middle Tennessee area. We have a clinic in Nashville and in Murfreesboro. This is our main event, our biggest event that our goal is to raise $250,000 this year. We've been doing events at Interfaith well over 20 years, and we're coming up on our 30th year as an organization next year. This is our first event, to my knowledge, that we've done at the factory. I've been on board for just a year and a half, so but we haven't done anything at the factory that I can remember tell me about the past 20 years, so it's been a while.
So you kind of know the drill, though, that you have on how you control underage sales,
Absolutely.
whether or not they've got it out in the factory, in the hallways and whatever else on that. Okay.
Yeah, our Chief Development Officer, Beverly, will be there. All of our staff from development and our CEO, Dr. Switzer, will be there. This is going to be about 300, it's our dental industry, dentists in the area that will provide support, their guests, other guests in the community from businesses. It's going to be an exciting evening. We have music, we have dancing, we have VIP area, you know, just the usual. It's a networking type style gala, not necessarily a seated dinner, but it's a way for us to fundraise through an auction and other things that evening.
Fun.
Any questions of the applicant? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Proper motions are a second.
Second.
Let's do a roll call vote. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes on
you.
that.
Take that with you when you're done.
Item 9, consideration of application of GraceWorks Ministry, DBA GraceWorks Ministry Dinner, The Factory at Franklin, Liberty Hall, 230 Franklin Road, Franklin, Tennessee, Alicia Bell, managing agent for special event dates and hours, April 22nd, 2023, 5 PM until 11 PM.
And Alicia Bell is the Director of Development. She's here. I think most of us are probably familiar with GraceWorks, but she's going to share a little bit about the event.
Yes, so GraceWorks is your local community resource center. We have a lot of friendly faces here that I'm chatting with. And this event is our largest key event of the year. And this will be our first year hosting it at the factory in Franklin of quite some time. And so we're looking forward to inviting 600 guests that evening to come and join the evening celebrating the success of GraceWorks and of course soliciting support to continue our food shelter and support programs. I will say, I believe the event is April 27th. I don't know if it's marked on your notes as the 22nd.
It does say April 27th,
Okay,
5 until 11.
yes.
Any questions of the applicant?
I have a question. So since you've moved venues, is it the same beverage service company that's doing this, or is it somebody contracted through the factory's list?
Correct. It's somebody contracted. This is the first time, I've been there for 5 years, and I think in the past 10 years, this is the first time we've had to pull a permit. So this is a new process for us.
Any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Proper motions are a second.
Second.
Let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes to that.
Thank you. very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Where'd you have it last year?
We had it at the Embassy Hotel in Cool Springs last year.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was a record-breaking year, so we're hoping for it again. Thank you.
let's do item 10. Consideration of application of Downtown Franklin Rotary Charitable Foundation, DBA, Jockeys and Juleps Park at Harlesdale Farm, 239 Franklin Road, Franklin, Tennessee, C.J. Monty, managing agent for a special event. Event dates and hours, May the 6th 2023, from 4 till 10.
And this is Don Vick, the facilities co-chair for Rotary, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about jockeys and juleps.
Okay, we're the downtown Franklin Rotary Club. We meet at the Enrichment Center first and third Monday evenings of each month. We have around 200 members, and the Jockeys and Juleps is our main fundraiser for the year, which benefits a lot of local charities. One of the primary ones being my friend's house. Our Rotary Club is very involved in it with our membership and raising money. This is will be our 4th or 5th year. I get mixed up because COVID knocked us out of a year or two, and last year we raised around $150,000 for our event.
Any questions?
None?
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion, or a second?
Second?
Okay, let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. You are approved.
I'd like to invite y'all to visit our club on first and third Mondays at Richmond Center. Be my guest. We'd love to have you see what we do.
What time?
We start at 5:30. Have a little social time, and then the meeting usually starts about 6. Get you out of there by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
All right.
So good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Don.
That all? Thanks.
Let's go to item 11 then, consideration of application of Edley's Berry Farm, LLC DBA, Edley's Barbecue, 501 Sally PBT Lane, Franklin, Tennessee, William Newman, owner, for own and off-premise consumption.
And this is Gina Burrell. She's the attorney for Edley's, and she's gonna be here to answer any of your questions.
Good afternoon.
New business? New business?
Yes, sir. This is a new business. Y'all are probably familiar with, and it's out in Berry Farms, you know, that whole area is exploding, but y'all are probably familiar with, there's Edley's, one opened in Nolensville, one's open in Donaldson, East Nashville, 12 South. They also have Poncho and Lefties. So they're a well-known restaurant group.
So when do you expect to be open?
Right now, we're waiting on our certificate of occupancy, so I think it's probably going to be early April before we're able to get it. And of course, we won't be able to get the permit until then, so.
Right,
Yes, sir.
we'll hold the permit until you get your CO.
That would be great.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant?
Assuming you serve beer in your other locations as well?
Yes, ma'am. We serve beer and we'll have a TABC license as well.
Thank you.
And I would just like to ask, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, because they are waiting on their certificate of occupancy, we would request that any motion to approve be contingent upon the receipt of the certificate of occupancy.
All right, proper request.
I was going to ask one question, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. What are y'all's plans for on and off premises consumption, long-term?
Mostly, it will be on premise, and our percentage of food is much greater. Our percentage of food is about 90%. Our percentage of alcohol and beer is about 10%. So the off-premise would be for, when people get catering packs and things of that nature. But that's a very small percentage compared to our on-premise.
So you do catering also?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And of course, all of our servers are TABC certified. We do not serve alcohol we card everyone that appears to be under 50. Anybody that appears to be under 50 or appears to be over 50 but doesn't have an ID, they still have to be approved by a manager. So I'd like to think I'd still get carded, but I'm not sure.
That is a good comment or two. Any other questions? So if you cater, do you cater the beer as well as the food? Say, are you?
Well, when I'm saying catering, we will be catering. At least caters all kinds of different events. And you can cater the beer depending on where you are. In this case, I'm talking more about, if you get on their website and you look at their other places, they'll have, this was especially popular in COVID, when you could order family packs for 6 or family packs for 8 and stuff like that, for something like that.
And I believe it would be like a closed
It
container.
would absolutely be sealed. It would be bottles or cans.
Like
It
you
would not
can,
be.
you might get your jug of sweet tea, and you would also get your
That is correct.
6-pack of beer to go with your barbecue.
Or like a package store.
A package store,
Exactly.
exactly.
It would all be closed container.
Any other questions?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Proper motions are a second.
And if I could, motion to,
Approved based on certificate of occupancy receipt.
second, please.
Proper motion is second. Let's do a roll call vote. Alderman Hanson. How do
Yes.
you vote? Yes. Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes on that. Okay.
Thank y'all very much. Come
All
to some
right.
barbecue. It is really good.
Thank you.
Let's go to item 12, then discussion of ordinance 2022-49, an ordinance to amend Title 8, Chapter 2, Section 202 of the Franklin Municipal Code relative to definition of premises for consumption of beer.
I'm not Bill Squires. I know that says that on your agenda, but we talked about this a few months ago, if you remember, when we had the factory here and they were getting a permit for their beer, and they were explaining to you how they didn't really have a specific place. It may be that they had a bar in one place, but you could walk around their hallways and into their theaters and take your drinks. This expands that a little bit. The state law already provides for this ability for beer and alcohol. So we're changing our terms within our code to allow for this as well. It doesn't really seem that you have a whole lot of authority to say no, because the law already kind of provides that they can do this. But the way it would work, for example, if Mojo's Tacos wanted to participate in this, I think that it's licensee by license or tenant by tenant. They would decide to join in on this combo license is kind of what we're calling it. And there's going to be, as you'll see, some insurance restrictions and some language that would have to go into a lease agreement, and then some labeling for their drinks. So a patron could go into Mojo's Tacos, and maybe they say it's an hour wait. They could buy their margarita at the bar. They would have a cup that would say Mojo's Tacos on it. They could leave that establishment, maybe with the little beeper that you have or the text, and they can walk around. And so long as the other tenants are interested and have agreed, they can maybe walk into those other businesses or just walk around the factory. They might be able to go into the permitted areas if there is an outdoor seating area or something like that and wait. They could also buy a margarita with their label and then walk in to see a show. Maybe they want to go see a Studio 10 show and they don't want, the drinks from the bar, they want an actual margarita. So that's kind of how this would work.
Okay.
Of course, we don't deal with margaritas, we deal with beer, but I was just kind of giving you an example. It has to be labeled with the name of the company. So if an officer were to walk around, they would clearly know where you purchased that drink. And that's kind of the point of the ordinance change. You guys would recommend to BOMA, and then we would talk to BOMA in about 2 weeks.
I do have a question. So Shauna, when you just mentioned that they would have to get a license, or that the local businesses that are there, and I'm thinking of, any of the establishments there, would they need to say if they didn't want people walking in with alcoholic beverages, and they'd have to post that?
I assume the factory is going to figure out how to make that
Okay.
clear. There's a risk by having people drinking on your
Right.
establishment, whether you serve them or not. So it's possible that people, that have a store that sells, trinkets or whatever, maybe even the Third Coast Clay, they might not want people in their establishments drinking. So there's gonna have to be some way to delineate where people can go and where they can't go. But we know for sure anything that's controlled by the factory it would be okay for someone coming from another restaurant. So if you wanted to go into Liberty Hall with a drink from Mojo's Tacos or any other restaurant, that's kind of how that would work.
Okay.
Any other questions or
I will
comments?
say that this isn't just for them, though. I mean, think about it broadly. It could also be the mall. If something, if they wanted to, they could figure out a way that if you had to wait for Cheesecake Factory, you could also do the same thing and then take your drink. And you probably wouldn't be able to go into the shopping areas where you could buy clothes, but you might be able to just walk around.
So how would that work? Because would the Cool Springs Mall then have to partner with those establishments?
We would, yeah, they would.
And the way I understand it, it has to be, the premises has to be defined in their lease
Right.
agreement. And so they would probably have to amend their lease agreement with the individual tenants. And then those tenants would have to come back before the beer board.
Right.
If they've already got a permit, and they would have to get a new permit that clearly defines that now their premises includes not just their suite, but all the common or shared spaces pursuant to their new lease.
Right. That's the intent, is that they would come back before you to at least publicly say and ask for a permit that would provide for additional space for them to carry their drinks.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion to approve from a committee standpoint, but pass this on to the full board for further recommendation and review.
So moved.
Proper motions are a second.
Second?
Let's do a roll call vote on that. Alderman Hanson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Alderman Potts, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes on that. Okay. Now, that's all of the items that we have except for other business. Do we have any other business?
I don't really have other business, but I do have one comment or a point of information that I would like to share. So last year, we amended our beer ordinance relative to the annual privilege tax and included new language that kept the due date January 1st, but gave a grace period until January 31st to pay the $100 annual privilege tax. And then on February 1st, as you will recall, revocation of the permit and a $50 per day fine would then go into effect. And I just wanted to share that I'm very pleased to say that all of our beer permit holders were in compliance by January 31st. So we had full compliance. We didn't have to revoke anyone's permit or try to figure out how to start collecting a penalty. And so we were very, very happy. And I'm very proud of my team's hard work because they were very dedicated to collecting all of those tax payments on time. So, and we have 236 business permit holders. So that was a
How many?
236 business permits. And they all paid on time this year.
Excellent. How many of those did you have to go on site for a friendly reminder?
2.
2.
We
That's
made
great.
we made 2 house calls. And when I say we, I mean me and Assistant City Administrator Christine Brock. So we went and visited 2 of them, and it had just slipped through the cracks, and they paid right away, and so it was all good.
Awesome.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn, sir.
and a proper motion. Is there a second? Let's do, well, we don't have to do that, do we? So all in favor of adjournment? Say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you, sir. Boy, we use